My name's Steve Mars, head cook of the Denver Cajun Barbecue Crew. We're at the 2010 American Royal in Kansas City, Missouri. This is my 7th year competing here, and today we have approximately 500 teams here, and the purpose of this gathering is to raise money for the American Royal scholarship funds, and this year their goal is to raise approximately $2 million in scholarship money that they'll pass out to deserving individuals to further their education in agricultural aspects of the central part of the United States. Today we're debuting our new Denver Cajun Feather River microwave smoker. It is a 32-gallon French white oak wine barrel that I picked up at the Feather River Winery in North Platte, Nebraska back in May, and we have converted it into a barbecue smoker, and it is all 100% wood. So it may sound a little strange, but this is one fantastic little smoker. I've sanded it all down, and we have stained it with red chestnut stain, and then put clear satin finish polyurethane finish over the oak, and the bands have been painted with brass spray paint. All of the screws that are in it are all hand set and drilled. There's 150 stainless steel screws in it to hold the bands and the staves together. The exhaust valves that are up on the top are 1-inch gate valves, and then on the bottom is a 2-inch gate valve for the air intake. I control the temperature by opening and closing the gate valve on the bottom, and then I can also control it with the 1-inch exhaust valves on each side of the top. The lid's not hinged, it just sits on here. This is the brand of the barrel, and you can see the word France right there. It's all the barrel was used 4 times in making a red wine, and after 4 times they have to get rid of the barrel, so we picked these up and made smokers out of them.
You gonna sell these?
Actually, I was in Grand Junction at one of the wineries last Saturday, and we picked up 10 of the 65-gallon barrels that I will have for sale.
What are you gonna sell it for?
They're going to be approximately $800.
Tell us about cooking them.
For the internal operation, I picked up some pizza racks, and I can, with the folding legs on them, I can stack them up so I can go 3 tiers high. This is where it gets really difficult. You pick it up with the handles. I used a 16-inch pizza pan, 4 pieces of stainless steel all thread, and stuck a Weber Smoky Joe kettle in the bottom of it. That's where I put the charcoal and the lump wood. I put about 2 inches of water in the bottom of the barrel. Fill this up with the charcoal and chunk wood, and when I'm ready to go, I just set it down inside. The pizza pan's actually underwater, so any of the ash or pieces of wood that happen to fall out end up in the water and not setting my barrel on fire.
How long you get a cook on the load?
I'm sorry, what?
How long can you cook on the load that you put in the charcoal?
We don't know for sure. I've never gone that far. I've never run out of fuel. I've never had to reload it.
Really?
It'll go from I can keep it down to about 180 degrees, and I can open up that air valve on the bottom. It'll go to 400 degrees in about 5 minutes. And I can control the temperature within 2 to 3 degrees by just adjusting the airflow going in and out of the smoker. You do have to keep water in it. After about every 2 cooks, I have to fill the barrel up and let the wood staves rehydrate so that they stay expanded, because if it dries out, then you get air gaps in between each one of the staves, and then you lose control of your temperatures, and there's a good possibility you could end up with 6 metal bands and 150 stainless steel screws in a puddle of charcoal, which wouldn't be an optimum way to go about things.
What meats have you cooked on so far?
2 weeks ago, I took first place in chicken at a KCBS competition in Scott City, Kansas. But the thing I really like to cook on it is beef tri-tips. They just turn out fantastic on this. And the tri-tips are rapidly becoming my favorite chunk of cow to cook.
How long do you cook them?
A 4 to 5 pound tri-tip will take about 35 minutes. And that's it.
Cool. What kind of wood do you flavor it with?
I use chunks of red oak. It has to be red oak, not white oak, because the flavors are totally different. For Santa Maria style tri-tips, you want to definitely go with red oak. And we just use a basic rub on the tri-tips of onion powder, granulated garlic, white pepper, black pepper, and kosher salt. That's all there is to the rub that goes on the tri-tips.
Cool. You doing sides today too, or just the meats?
We're just doing the 4 main categories plus sausage tomorrow. So we're not doing any of the side dishes today. No cream of pumpkin soup this time.
All right, thanks.
Good morning from the American Royal again. This morning we're going to give you just a quick glimpse of one of the favorite early morning competition breakfast items that I make, and it's we just call it Denver Cajun Cheesy Grits. It's a pretty basic recipe that several people have used. It's kind of like an egg casserole. We're going to saute up some vegetables real quick. We're going to use some diced green bell peppers and some onions that we're going to saute in some butter. We're going to use a cup of diced onions. Our butter is really nice and warm right now, so we're going to use some onions. We'll let those kind of warm up just a couple of seconds, and then we're going to add in also a cup of diced green bell peppers. While that's coming up to temp,
How much butter was in there?
just a stick.
Okay.
While those are coming up to temp, we've already got our grits cooked. This is 6 servings of quick grits. Don't use instant; they don't turn out as well. 6 cups or 6 servings of grits. That's 4 cups of water and 1 cup of quick grits. Bring the water to a boil, then add the grits in and stir them up so they don't get lumpy. And 7 minutes is all it takes to cook the grits, and they're ready to go. We're also going to add in about 1.5 pounds of diced up sausage, and one of the favorites is a spicy hard sausage. It's buy it at one of the local big box stores. It's a Kavanaugh brand hot spicy sausage, and it just adds a little extra kick to the whole concoction that we're making here. The other things going in it is eggs. We're going to do 7 eggs. And to that, we're also going to add about 4 tablespoons of flour, which, while they're baking, the flour will just help thicken things up. 4 tablespoons of flour is about all you need. And then in with the eggs, we're going to mix in 2 cups of blended cheeses. I like to use the 4-blend Mexican cheese that kind of goes with the sausage. And about 2 cups. Add in the rest of the sausage. That'll work for that. Check on our veggies. They're doing just fine. We'll go ahead and add the grits in.
You add the grits to the egg mixture.
Yep. You want to stir this up while you're adding them so that you don't end up with scrambled eggs, because those grits are still pretty hot. Kind of temper them a little bit. And the hot grits melt the cheese pretty quick, so that works out good too. Just helps get it right in there. Let's go ahead and add in our veggies. A little extra butter in there's not going to hurt anything. And the last, I'm sorry?
The residual heat is enough to cook the eggs?
No, we're not. This is going to get baked, and we'll bake it in or cook it in the smoker for an hour.
Oh, okay.
An hour to hour and 15 minutes at 350 degrees. And the last thing I'm putting in is some of my Cajun seasoning.
This is available where?
The Cajun seasoning is, you can use just about any brand you want. This is a particularly
Well, this is not yours.
great brand that I get by special order from Scott, Louisiana. That is everything that goes in my cheesy grits recipe. Now the last item, or last thing we want to do, spray down an aluminum half pan. So that those eggs don't stick to it. We'll transfer this in here. This will, when it bakes up, it'll fluff up quite a bit. And we'll just decorate it a little bit. One pan of cheesy grits, that's enough to serve about 8 people, unless they're really hungry.
And you are?
My name's Steve from Denver.
And how can people find you who want you to cater for them?
They can contact me at or email me at denvercajun@comcast.net, or visit my website denvercajun.com.